Roundabouts and Firewood, a mental health approach for Irish guys. Chapter 19, Solo. While Cian aided me in my battle with OCD, my solo fight with depression continued. The random bouts of crying eventually stopped after about 9 months, so that now when I cried, I knew the reason, which may not seem to be a cause for celebration, but knowing why the tears flowed felt like a victory. I continued to be inconsistent about being active, even though when I was active, I felt better, and when I sat on my ass thinking about how bad things were, I felt worse. Still, I did try a lot of different things. For a while, I attended a Buddhist temple in Killarney. Internet dating wasn't successful, but it provided hope I would meet someone. Going to Saturday night dog races, attending music festivals, participating in a film club up the road, and joining a percussion group in Inch were some of the other things that I gave a go. I just tried to keep moving. By December of 2009, Cian and I were settled in what would be our neighborhood until we moved to Dublin 6 years later. With me getting to know my neighbors and some of the other parents at Cian's school, I realized that while my emotional troubles were not at an end, I was learning to embrace life again. There were actually moments when I felt good, not just less bad. But with Christmas a few weeks away, I was nervous that things might go downhill quickly. The previous 2 Christmas holidays had been awful. There was the homesickness. There was the loneliness. There were the 2 weeks of schools being closed, and this meant no work and no structure. I wanted and needed things to go differently. Bad weather gave me the assistance I needed. Chapter 20, The Gift of Ballygamboon. A few kilometers outside of Castle, Maine, a village that is a 15-minute drive from Tralee and not far from Clorglan, where the Puck Fair is held, there is a small patch of forest called Ballygamboon. This particular piece of land is owned by the Irish government, and it is for public use. Because I've worked with Castlemaine schools and the community center, I often stop there on my way home to take a walk. With Christmas approaching, the winds got up to high enough speeds to knock down a few trees. When I discovered I couldn't walk around the area as easily as before, I had an idea. I would use some of the fallen timber for firewood. I simply needed to cut out pieces small enough for my fireplace. I now had a mission. I was going to cheat a foreign country out of its natural resources. Just the thought of it gave me satisfaction. Off to Woody's I went, where I purchased a handsaw. To walk around the Ballygamboon forest, you first had to descend into an area where it appeared there had once been a creek. Plenty of trees and large branches had fallen there. The best part was that if you crouched down, no one from the road could see you. It was here that my theft of firewood, my giving the Irish government the finger, my big political action took place. I now appreciate a chainsaw. After 30 minutes, usually a minute sawing and a minute break, I was exhausted. Physically, my arms seemed to be cramping, but the psychological exhaustion was taking the biggest toll. Every time I heard a car drive by, I was certain it was the Gardaí. So I would plant myself on the ground, spread out face first, hoping not to be seen. As I waited for the car to pass, images of being discovered and hauled off to prison would flash across my eyes, and I thought I should just get out of there before Cian would be forced to see his father locked up for stealing firewood. I tolerated the paranoia, and each day I loaded up some of my hard-earned pieces of wood into the back of my Toyota Urus and drove home, worried that I'd be pulled over with the contraband visible through the back window. Those 2 weeks of cutting wood did as much for my depression as anything else. Every day I had something to do, and that something was physical that wore me out. I had proof of an accomplishment, and that gave me satisfaction. In short, I had a goal each day. I was determined to reach that goal. And despite the fact that I was certain I could be going to jail, I achieved something. Whether it's anxiety or depression, small achievements are great feats, and if you keep working, things change.